Welcome back to News Center Political Brew. Glad to be with you with Phil Harriman, John Richardson.
Good morning
Gentlemen. In Maine news, the Ethics Commission fined Sarah Gideon $500 for violating campaign finance laws in 2016. That was when her leadership PAC reimbursed Gideon for 2 contributions she made to other PACs. The panel said the fine underscores the importance of following election law, even if there is no attempt to deceive the public. Of course, John, the state and national GOP has weighed in, as they will continue to do. Gideon, they say, has shown a pattern of misleading Mainers, shady behavior. They call her Guilty Gideon. They've got a website for that now. How serious is this in the great scheme of things?
It would be very serious if there was a pattern on behalf of Sarah Gideon, but there isn't. This is a one-time technical mistake she made. She owned up to it. It was transparent. It was sitting right there for everyone in the world to see on her report. It's just that the person who, frankly, was running that PAC didn't understand the rules. She paid her fine. As the Ethics Commission said, there's no intent here. You know, she pays her fine, we move on. Now, if something else happens, then people can say what they want about it. But if this is a one-off, you know, I think they're overblowing. The Republicans are overblowing their protest of this.
But no one wants to. If you're running for office, you don't want campaign ads against you saying, "Oh, violated campaign finance laws."
Right.
And technically, that is so.
Yeah, and it is so. But the description of the opponents, whether it's Democrats at Republicans or vice versa, that's the sort of splashy language that you see. I'm going to give Sarah a pass that this was a rookie mistake. But it was a blinding glimpse of the obvious. This should not have happened, and as John said, if this is one and done, this will not be heard from again.
On Tuesday, Portland will elect a mayor. Ethan Strimling, the incumbent, is running against 3 others who say their leadership style will be more effective than his. A recent public poll shows Strimling neck and neck with Councillor Spencer Thibodeau. Now, the question is, Phil, I guess if Ethan Strimling can't get to 50% on the first round of counting, because this is ranked choice voting, is that likely to cost him his job? Because you've got 3 other candidates who essentially are running as the non-Ethan Strimling.
I think it depends, Pat, on how much passion there is for this election in the city of Portland. It's an off-year election. You got to care about who the mayor is to have a reason to go vote, and if they do, I suspect Ethan may be in trouble. I think the possibility of people who are voting for the other 3 candidates have subscribed to the criticism that Ethan has been a little too strident and a little too dictatorial, if I can use that word. And let's remember, those are the same signals that Ethan said when he was running for mayor, that he was going to have a different leadership style than Mike Brennan. That has not turned out to be the case.
As a matter of full disclosure, I've weighed in on this, publicly weighed in on this campaign in terms of who I would support, although I don't live in Portland. But I would say that, yes, this 50%, this ranked choice voting will have a definite impact on this particular race. And why I say that is because with Ethan, you know, you love him or you don't. And so he'll have a lot of strong support. If he gets to 50%, that's great. I think one of the reasons why he's not saying anything about Kate Schneider and the other candidate, you know, who's running for mayor besides Spencer Travis is that you know, he's hoping obviously to get the second votes from those 2 candidates, although he has not hesitated to complain or criticize, you know, Spencer Thibodeau, because I don't think he thinks he will get any second votes from those who support him.
See how it plays out. Elizabeth Warren this past Friday released her $20 trillion package of tax increases to pay for the Medicare for All plan. It's designed to hit corporations and the wealthy, including a provision requiring companies to send most of the funds they currently spend on employee health contributions to the federal government. She says it would also take advantage of what she said would be savings from eliminating the bureaucracy of private insurance. I guess the question politically right now is, John, seems like an awfully hard sell. Elizabeth Warren prides herself on being able to boil things down to a selling point, but this is a tough one.
It's a very tough one. This is why most candidates stay away from what something will cost. You know, they want to give that benefit to the public, but they don't want to talk about how they're going to pay for it. That's always something that most politicians, whether Democrats or Republicans, all tend to try to do. I'm going to give her, though, a lot of credit for being honest with the American people, of saying it's going to cost. But I also see some benefits associated with that cost, meaning you're going to see some savings in copays and deductibles, all those out-of-pocket expenses. You're going to see that, and ultimately in the end, we're going to right a ship that, in my opinion, we cannot sustain the rate of increases in our healthcare system. We have to try something. I'll give her credit for doing that.
Phil, I'm thinking her opponents can't wait to start running ads, whether they're Democrats or Republicans eventually.
Absolutely
Take
right.
$20 trillion run by on the screen.
Wow, talk about going all in. I think Elizabeth Warren has basically pushed all of her political chips into the center of the table. We heard the same words that John just described about how healthcare would operate after Obamacare. That's still lingering in the back of people's minds. She's talking about taking over the private healthcare system. She's talking about raising taxes by trillions. Forget who's going to affect. That's a tough sell. If she can condense that down into a soundbite that people vote for, she should be president.
All right. Who are our winners and losers in politics this week, John?
For me, it's Colonel Vindman, who came in to testify, a patriot of this country, gave his blood, has given his life to this country, a real patriot for standing up and saying what he was concerned about when he was on the call with the Ukrainian president. And I think, unfortunately, it is the Republicans in the House who kept arguing for transparency but wouldn't vote for the impeachment process that gave them both the rules and the ability to call witnesses for this process.
Phil?
I have to start with the loser of the week is Sarah Gideon. Maybe it was a rookie mistake to violate election law dealing with PACs. She's out there campaigning for the U.S. Senate, saying she's not going to take corporate PAC money, and she violated PAC laws here in the state of Maine. That's my loser of the week. The winner of the week, I have to pay tribute to the Maine State Chamber of Commerce. They're kicked off the Maine bicentennial year. They had vignettes of all living governors in the state of Maine. It was very well done and very well received.
All right. Thanks very much. That's Political Brew for this week. Thanks for being with us. See you next time. New CENTER Maine, back after this.